they'll play it again.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's a lot of smart dumb shit. But
I heard it. I'm just not sold on it.
I
I'm
think
not. I'm not sold on it because I still know people that live in the projects. I'm 30 years removed, and they raising their kids in the same projects that we came up in when we was kids, with a dad in the house. So you put this kid in the same environment that you came up in, right? Now he got all his friends in his little community per se, right? And they could come up together. But in the same token, they coming up together. They practically brothers and sisters, right? But they still end up killing each other because all they know is that little 2 block radius or 3 block radius. That's all they know. You know what I'm saying? They coming back and forth to that shit every day. School projects, school projects, school projects, church projects, church projects. That's all they know. With a dad in the house. Mom and dad never thought to move out of the fucking projects because that's all they knew.
but
You
I
know what I'm
think that
saying?
comes from exposure too. Like, we are the company that we keep, and exposure is important. But when I heard him talking, I hear Q on the dumb smart thing, but the thing that I was stuck on what he was saying is that the lack of nuclear families, and I think we need to acknowledge that in today's society, the traditional family looks different. It's no longer just the mom and the dad and they're married, right? 40% of people, per the stats that I had shared in the chat, as of 2019, were born out of wedlock, right? So the traditional homes look different. It is not just mom and dad. Sometimes it's 2 moms. Sometimes it's 2 dads. We're going back to the aunt, or women are choosing to raise their children on their own, right? So I think that changes the dynamic of it. I think there's a balance that is needed when the father is present in the home. And we had this conversation some weeks ago about the statistics and saying that would a child be better off if they were raised by their father? The statistics were showing, at least the ones that Hamp was saying, was that those who don't have fathers in the home, they're more likely to go to jail, they're more likely to live in poverty, and all of these other things. So it's a matter of, we have to take some accountability, and where's the truth in that? We can't just think about in our own circle and then the people that we know. We can't just think about that. Exposure plays a huge key, to Bub's point. And then also, I think having the structure in the family on a day-to-day basis makes a huge difference.
I'm tired of us getting blamed for shit, yo. Word. I'm tired of that shit.
My thing is with the situation, it's like with these fatherless homes, it does seem like, fathers are consistently getting blamed. But it's like on one end, we talk about these fatherless homes are creating these criminals, but then these fatherless homes are creating these beta men. So it's like, are you a bitch or are you out here killing people? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. Like, it just doesn't add up completely, because you can't, if, we talked about having, gay sons because of fatherless homes, having beta sons because fatherless homes, having criminals because of fatherless homes. Like, and it's like, and I don't really agree with the fact that from what I heard, he stated that most homicides are committed by Black people. I don't know if that's valid now in 2023.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it. I know the rates for white people killing people have went up a lot.
Yeah, Black people kill the most in the country per capita. So per our percentage, we overrepresent in violent crime. So we're 14% of the population, but I think we're at 30% of the violent crime. And he's saying you bring that back to these kids not having fathers, and that is the consistent common denominator. That was his premise.
But I also think that economics can be argued for some of the same fact, that it can be just as consistent as not having a father in the home. Because if you take the same motherless household in the hood and compare it to, a fatherless household in the hood and compare it to a fatherless household that's middle class, the outcomes are going to be totally different.
But how do you achieve? The quickest way to wealth is marriage. So it still correlates back. If a woman is doing it by herself, she's more likely to be in poverty.
I don't know, because I know a lot of and maybe it's just my circle. I know a lot of single moms who aren't in poverty.
But you know a lot that are too. If all you gotta do is think, I guarantee you could say 4 or 5 names right now. Because the car payment that's the only thing they gotta pay for if they living on Section 8, and that car payment $800 a month. That nice car don't mean they doing good. That mean they got a nice car that they overpaying for. And that's what happens.
But that goes back to what Bub was saying, like the same people living in the hood, generational cycles of them living in the hood, different generations still in the same apartment. Those are the families that are killing each other in the hood. And I think it's more poverty. I know people who are on Section 8 who work there. They go to work and maintain their hours so that they can continue to be on Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to forever be in those projects, and they're forever going to be in a poverty mindset. And in those communities, there is a lot of murders there, so I think it's more.
What about the fathers though?
Yeah, right. I was going.
Because you wouldn't qualify if you had 2 incomes.
Right.
Some of the fathers are in the home and just not on the lease hand.
Some ain't an answer. And then what happens is, if you can't be on a lease and you leaning on a woman to make sure she stays on Section 8, what kind of man are you in the first place? That leans back to Mary's point.
And I believe those are the men that are committing the murders, the men that are going to jail, the men that had those IEP plans.
Right.
Okay. And they raised. Go ahead.
I'm saying, and who are those kids following after? Who are those kids identifying with? Those type of dudes, which then the cycle repeats itself because either lack of fathers or very poor ones.
So we got a couple of we got a few super chats. Savage was popping, so he corrected me on the stat. We commit 51% of violent crime.
That's a lot.
That is overwhelming.
Right.
G Firm with a $10 super chat. I love you, Q, but we aren't forced to eat improper or put anything in our mouth by accident. The reason these fast food spots exist in our hoods is because we break bread with them. Savage Red Recovery with the $2 super chat. Everyone has McDonald's. Larry Elder, Savage said he's quoting Obama, and then he said I was on my Mary shit with my internet. It ain't raining too much in Houston, Savage, so I don't got no excuse. Damn,
shout out
man.
to Savage too, man. Shout out to Savage.
Yeah, word. So